We are live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Police Off the Cuff After Hours. I'm your host. My name is Mark DeMayo. I'm here with my co-host, my partner in all things law enforcement, the very handsome Bill Cannon. What's up, Bill?
Glad to be here as always. It's just there's some sad things happening that we'll talk about, but it's going to be a great show anyway.
Yeah, we're excited about our guest. Every once in a while, we have a great recommendation. We got a recommendation from a retired NYPD Inspector Joe Reek. He asked us he said our next guest might be a great guy for the show. We took the time out to look it up, and sure enough, he is. He's the founder of LEO/only.org, lawenforcementonly.org. He's an active Pennsylvania state trooper. Welcome, Sgt Craig Polan. What's up? How are you?
Not much. Good, real good. Thanks.
Welcome, Craig. It's great to have you here. It's funny that we just had Back to Blue, North Carolina, which is a similar organization to what you do. Great people. It's great to meet cops from all over the world. It's really great.
Yes.
But before we started the show tonight, we wanted to pay our respect to Chicago police officer Ella French, whose life was cut short and taken in the line of duty. She died Saturday night. It was a car stop, and she got shot, killed, and her partner is still in the hospital, still in ICU.
I pulled this poem off of Greg's site, and I thought it was apropos, and I'm going to read it if people don't mind. The policewoman, through the call of duty of intuition led, the crime detective faces the world, it is said. Guardian of the peace, overseer of plight, prepared to stand by to give aid, defend or fight. Might the prayers of the world patrol and light her way safely home to her family. May she return each day with dedication to her work. To see a justice done, she becomes society's shepherd, a brave and selfless one. That's a unknown poet that wrote that, which is apropos, I think. I just want, we have the recording of the dispatcher to this job. And in my 27 years of policing, I've never, ever heard a more professional job done by the dispatcher and the Chicago police officers. It's just an incredible thing. It's tough to listen to. And I'm just going to put it up on the screen. I'm going to play half of it. And you can it's shocking. And how the news always says, oh, this is shocking. But this is what cops go through. And this is the real recording of what happened. So I'm going to put it up on the screen. I'm going to play it right now.
Hey, I guess people can't see anything. Nothing's coming up online.
Units respond to the 10-1. Any of the routes set up eastbound 6-3, eastbound 6-3, take it down to Western. Take it down to Western. All traffic eastbound 6-3 to Western. We're taking it to UFC for the 10-1, 2 officer shot. One officer is going to Holy Cross. All 71, we have an officer in our car. We're going to UFC with him. We're going down 63rd to state to 5555 over. Listen to me, officer. Officer's going to Holy Cross. That's down the trauma center. We got to get him to a trauma center, guys. Take him to UFC. They're a trauma center. Go to UFC. Don't go to Holy Cross. It's down the trauma center. Take them both to UFC for now. UFC. Call the officer that's approaching 63rd in Halstead. Approaching 6-3 in Halstead now. 6-3 in Halstead. 637 we're going to UFC. Take both officers to 57 on Maryland, guys. That's a trauma center. We called the hospital, UFC. They got 2 officers coming in. Go to UFC. And stop the traffic coming from Damon and Western. It needs to be blocked. 6-3 eastbound. Eastbound 6-3. I want Damon and Western blocked. All units 6-3, Damon and Western blocked. We're going to UFC. Come on, talk. I got an ambulance here. Do we need him still? Listen to me, guys. Stay off the air. Whoever has the officers, you're talking. That's it. Stay off the air. Get them with the officers talk. 31, we got the officer. We're on 5-9 right now. 10-4, 10-4. 36, officer.
Okay, we got you guys. Just call out the locations of where you're at. UFC is notified.
7-2 in Ashland, going down.
Okay, 6-3 in Nashville, and now they're gonna be.
Come now. Now we're gonna make a right on 5-5.
All right, going. You're at 5-5. Is that east or west? East. They're going east off 5-5 now from Ashland.
What's the Fifth Street?
Yeah, 10-4. Right now. Guys, take Garfield and take an eastbound. Eastbound on Garfield. Get us to 10-1.
5 right now.
Get us to the right. Get us to the 10-1. We're going to UFC Hospital now, going eastbound 55th off of Western, 5-5 eastbound and Western. Block all streets. All right, you guys got the air. 731, what's the condition of stand by? 731, what's the condition?
Master partner Rap, P.O. Rap, he's with them.
PO Rap, what's the condition of the officer in your vehicle?
He's talking right now, squad.
Okay, 10-4, whoever has my other officer, what's the condition, guys?
726, he's not responsive, he's unconscious. He's looking blue from the face. I'm heading right now north on 63rd and Halsted, about to take 55th down to east to UFC.
All right, 10-4, we got him going, guys.
Squad, where's that car at?
Where is the car at with this officer?
Squad.
Okay, UFC 10-4.
Both POs in one car or are they in separate cars?
They're in separate cars, guys. Just stay off the air, please. Stay off the air. 10-4, going into UFC. Very good.
Open the entrance at UFC.
10-4, opening entrance to UFC. 10-4.
736, going east on Garfield and Halsted.
Repeat. Get him with information off Offset.
I'm on a Garfield and Union, 736 with the other officer, heading east.
Eastbound, Garfield and Union, 10-4. Unit at Garfield and Union, that's the unconscious officer. Unit at Garfield and Union, that's the unconscious officer.
736, repeat, I'm sorry.
That's the unconscious officer, correct?
10-4, squad.
Okay, is someone in the back with her? Is someone in the back seat with her?
10-4, squad, not my person.
Okay, listen to me. Take that damn vest off right now and start compressions. Start breathing. Whatever we got to do, start it now. While you're driving, the officer in the back with her, take the vest off and start compressions now. You got the air.
736, compression started almost 15 minutes ago.
Okay, excellent. Keep it rolling, baby. Keep it rolling. We got it coming. They know you're coming in. And units that are at UFC Hospital, have those doors open for me. Have them open, guys. Have them ready. Units in the crime scene.
He was off. Careful condition 1 GSW to the head, it looks like.
Go ahead, boy.
614, we got the male officer. He's here. They got him in the CR right now. Side door to the emergency room is open. Bring him through the emergency room side.
All right, bring him to the emergency room side, guys. Guys, male officer going into the ER. Bring him to the emergency room. And the other female officer, please get her in there, guys. Make it quick. Be safe getting there, but make it quick.
736, my officer here is shot in the head between the eyebrow.
10-4.
3, repeat that last transmission.
Shot in the head between the eyes. Both officers unresponsive in the hospital. UFC. Keep the air clear.
861 point, Clark, you just showed up.
10-4. 10-4. Units secure the crime scene. If you're at the crime scene, secure the crime scene. Don't touch anything at the crime scene.
Tough to listen to, huh?
Yeah, that was the second part of that. The first part of that is what the actual incident going down. That was that. Thank God he didn't play that, because anybody wants to listen to that, it's available, but it's a tough. It's so hard to listen to that without breaking down.
You know, Craig. We talk a lot about, and sometimes we get criticized for talking politics and policing, but it's impossible to talk about policing without mentioning politics. And Chicago is probably the most violent city in the entire USA and has almost a worse mayor than New York City. This Lightfoot is horrendous. And I know that I read something where the officer, the male officer who was shot and in critical condition, his father ripped into her at the hospital. And cops all turned their back on her, much like they did in New York City to de Blasio. She's a very anti-cop mayor. And, when these tragedies occur, we feel it no matter where, in whatever city, we're a brotherhood. And it's a horrendous thing. And she can't now act like she cares about the police,
Yeah, I read somewhere that she had actually got on the officers for being in their hospital without masks on. Like, yeah, this is the time to get into that,
Yeah.
Hey, can we go into a little bit about what brought you here tonight?
Sure.
Apparently, so you had a page on Facebook.
Yes.
And we're trying to promote something. We talked about this last week, Bill and I, with our guest, about how, I don't know whether it's censoring, whether they just want you to use. I'll ask you that later. But you were trying to promote something, and you were getting you weren't getting the reach that you thought you'd get, right?
Well, we actually got completely shut down for an extended period of time because of we allow stories that they haven't verified, and we've been completely shut down with our Facebook page. So I've actually went out and we've started our own social media app to avoid Facebook as much as possible. It's just starting to get out there, but what we're doing is we met with Brotherhood for the Fall in New York and a couple other nonprofits that we work well with, that we've gotten awards from, that we have good friends that are in those organizations. And we've given them their own page on our new social media so they can not be censored either. There's a $15 a year fee, but it's giving you your own home and you're not worried about the censoring and you don't have the Facebook overlook, because we've had members, we have over 38,000 members worldwide. And we are now being removed from their feeds and they can't see what we're doing. They can't have discussions. And we've saved somewhere in the area that I know of personally, at least 25 officers from suicide with our page, because officers have been able to come in there and say, I'm having a dark day. I'm in the bottom of a bottle. And people have reached out and actually helped them get through what they're going through, driving and sitting down and having dinner, or they've reached out in the middle of the night. I had a guy reach out to me. I just came off the ice playing hockey the other night, and somebody reached out to me and was having a bad night at home. I'm glad guys have that, because I started this group because of my best friend who followed me into law enforcement, into the state police, who committed suicide. And my dad's church took care of their Christmas. And I got thinking about two things. I said, one, why is the church taking care of Christmas? This is our job. These are our people. We should be taking care of this family. Then the other thing was, let's start a Facebook page, give guys a place to talk, a place to vent. I mean, I go on these like Police One and these things. There's nothing wrong with them. But the civilians come in there and start hammering you on a post. You put something up and you're hammered by these guys giving you a bag of crap about what you're talking about. And nobody sees things like we see. And we needed a place where we could go and have a conversation without somebody telling us what we can't do. Well, now Facebook has gone and done that. So that's why the Lodge app has been started, to try to give nonprofits a place to go, allow us to push notification to tell people events are coming up, and not worry about the censorship. So hopefully the app takes off. It's right now just under 1,000 people, but we'll see where it goes.
I'll join up. Bill and I will join up tonight.
Yeah. No, what we've done is you can also do live feeds. We're giving everybody their own page. You want your own page, people join, you control your page. So far, so good.
Craig, I just posted it in a live chat, the address for your website. So hopefully a lot of our subscribers will subscribe to Law Enforcement Only. It's such an important thing to have, and to have police supporting each other, because the public doesn't always do it. This was the toughest 2 years, the last 2 years in the history of probably the police department. Maybe some would disagree with me. We have Lieutenant Pranzo here, a former street crime lieutenant, 3-2 lieutenant, and he said, back in 1969 and 70, when they had all of those liberation groups assassinating police, he would say that was the toughest times. But the last 2 years were pretty tough for law enforcement.
Yes, I agree. It has been.
Did you guys on the Facebook, when you were sharing or trying to share your events, did you ever use the promote button and hit that?
The issue we run into is we have a small games of chance from Pennsylvania and raffles. Facebook will shut you down if you try to use raffle. Guns, we do a lot of gun raffles. We have a year-long calendar raffle where we sell a ticket for $25 and you win a gun a day. We use a PA Pick 4 lottery at night, and we've done well, but they censored us on that. You use the word gun, we started using pew pew. We've used every word to get around there. And now they keep tagging it. Now they've even taken as far as if we post a flyer and it's got a gun on it, it's catching it somehow. So they've done everything to hammer us, and said we were completely shut down. Luckily, a buddy of mine's a lieutenant in New Jersey State Police. He knew somebody that retired from New Jersey that was with Facebook and was able to get our page back up, because we were down for, it was tough being down that long.
That's crazy that they censored you like that. I know that, we're obviously on YouTube, but you have to know what you can and can't do on YouTube, because you could also, the algorithm will shut certain things down. So you can't have like crazy violence. Like if we would have do a show about the shootings in Chicago, they wouldn't really push that out there.
Yeah, I saw Dan Bongino talking the other day that they were starting to censor him pretty heavy on YouTube, and I was surprised because his show's not. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I guess because of his right side approach, he gets some hate. I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's enough of the sites that would share everything out there that that should be out there. I don't know why anyone's getting censored, but it is happening.
Slowly, these other places are starting to trickle in. Something will catch on and move to the top. Is it created yet? I don't know, but everybody's trying to do something. I guess you could say for the conservative side, maybe for law enforcement, whatever. The two of those will consolidate, but I think eventually something's going to catch on where it's going to be like the red Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, until then, sites like yours, Back to Blue, North Carolina, Blue Lives Matter in New York City, and these cop sites, they have to take the ball and run with it, because we have to protect our own people. We have to do something for our own people. There's your site, www.leo-only.org. I'll just read it because our primary mission is to raise funds to take the children of injured, fallen brothers and sisters on holiday shopping sprees. We need to ensure that these children who have already suffered the great losses will not be left behind during the holidays. Law Enforcement Only is a 501c3 charitable organization. That's great.
Yes, I can give you a quick background on what we've done with that. So we started in 2013 with our Facebook page, and we started looking, and we saw some people starting to ask for help after my best friend had committed suicide, and we started doing Christmas shopping sprees. The first year we did 23 kids, and then we've expanded from there, and we've done over 1,500 kids Christmas shopping, and even to the point that remember when Puerto Rico had their hurricane come through and destroy them, somebody had reached out to us and said, hey, there's a lot of kids down here that have parents that are police officers. So I flew my dad and another friend down to Puerto Rico. And it was funny. We put it out to their chiefs of police down there and said, hey, we're going to come down. We're going to do Christmas. Well, one thought it was a scam. One didn't. Well, the one who didn't was also telling them it was a scam. I think it was some kind of internal battle over who was going to get what. Right. So figured on doing 200 kids. And I flew my dad down. He said the first day they showed up, they had about 50 kids, 60 kids. And the next day he called me and he goes, I just pulled in and I don't know what to do. I said, what's going on? He said, their kids are wrapped around the corner of the building. The word from the other police department got out that, hey, there is somebody here to help us and they're here to take us Christmas shopping. So he said, what do you want me to do? And I said, don't turn anybody away. We have never turned anybody away for Christmas. If you're under 17, we will take you Christmas shopping. If you're hurt on duty or off duty, your mother or father killed, we don't care. I didn't want it to be exempt from people, suicide or off duty injury or whatever. So he took care of all of them Christmas shopping down there, and we ended up chopping the money down because he only took so much with him, down to $100 a kid. But we saw a different lifestyle down there. $100 was a lot of money. And Then when we had the fires in Colorado, in California, I flew my dad and a friend out there to take police officers' kids in California Christmas shopping. So we've done quite a bit around the world. We're looking to hopefully do at least another 100 this year. They said we have never told anybody no. We have looked into a couple that have said, we don't know if you really need it because the story didn't match up. So we do our due diligence on making sure the right kids are taken. Then we've also, last year, we've done 2 years of college scholarships now for the kids 17 or older. And we awarded 3 yesterday. We just picked our 3 from yesterday. And they get $2,000 a year for each year for 4 years of college. So that's going to start to really add up because we're not going to stop giving it to them. And next year we'll add 4 more, 3 more, and 3 more, and 3 more. So we're going to quickly tie up some money next couple of years. That's why our gun raffle and our other raffles we run are very important. We had a New Jersey trooper was killed off duty. We drove out there and paid for his funeral because his family couldn't afford it. We've also bought a special need bike for 2 kids. We've paid for a dog for an autistic child. We've pretty much done anything we've been asked to step up and do. We had a PA trooper. His daughter has a major medical condition, and they were looking for AEDs. And the insurance would not cover AEDs for the kids. So we did a quick fundraiser. We were at Knoebels, which is a big park over more towards East Pennsylvania. And I put it out on Facebook. I was like, hey, guys, we got something. I got to need your help. By the time we sat down to eat, we had raised over $3,000 just in that quick of a period of time. The guys in the group jump up quick. So then I also get a phone call, and a buddy of mine calls me, and he goes, hey, I have an AED that I had awarded to us on a grant. Can I just give it to you? So we got him 2 AEDs. We mailed them the rest of the money to make sure they could get back and forth to any facility they needed to for treatment. And the group has done a lot. And I can't say enough about my dad, who has stepped up. He actually took our store. I had it in my basement, took over his whole garage, and we don't pay rent. We pay for the fuel at the building, and that is it right now. But he turned over his whole garage into a storefront for Elio only. We both used our vehicles. I dropped the transmission in my Tahoe driving back and forth to DC with a trailer. Had to go buy a new vehicle. My dad just dropped his Tahoe transmission, dragging our trailers around. So, does it affect us? Yes. But at the same point, when I get the phone calls or the messages that we saved somebody's life from suicide, or I get those Christmas cards after Christmas, or the videos of kids crying because they got Christmas, and there's been parents we've called, and I've had moms tell me flat out, we already told the kids there were no Christmas this year. And I said, yes, there will be. And the reason why we chose Christmas is we've had families call, say, hey, can we pay for our kids' schooling? No, you pay the bills. We take care of Christmas. The kids always get forgotten. So we've always made it Christmas. We've stuck on that solid line. We're not going to pay for your kids' schooling. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. But your kids get $350 to $400 to spend on Christmas, which is normally more than most kids get to spend. We're going to get
absolutely.
It's like impressive for them.
I used to get coal in my stocking.
I got a brick one year.
But hey, that something is fantastic. I know the SPA goes out on Christmas morning and just delivers presents to kids' houses, not cops' kids, poor kids.
Yeah,
and that's an amazing thing too.
And that's what we take them. We take them shopping. We meet them at the store and we say, "What store do you want to go to? Get whatever you want. We're paying the bill." And we've had some go over, and we've had the people who are taking these Christmas shopping step up on their own and say, "You know what? They went over. I got it." So it has been impressive. And the nice thing is we get our members involved. We have Christmas shopping sprees. We get nominations all year. Then I put it out and I say, hey, I need somebody in New York City here. I need somebody in New Jersey here. We let our members take them Christmas shopping. I want them to see the kids smile and what they've done as a group. I go to if it's local, but other than that, I let our members go. I let our members enjoy this too.
You know what I used to do? I used to go to the post office right there in New York City, because we're in New York, and that's where all the letters to Santa come. And every year I used to go there, and I used to go because there's a whole big bin, and you could just sift through the letters and pick out the one you want. And I got to tell you, a lot of these kids are greedy. You know, they always wanted these PlayStations and stuff like that. I always used to pick the kid that wanted like 3 pencils and a notebook for school.
You know, folks, it's so touching to see in the chat. There's people here from Australia, from England, from Kentucky, from all different parts of the world. And, you know, it's great to see that Police Off the Cuff is international. In fact, I want to show you this. A cop from London, his name is Andy Foley. He sent this to Mark and I with that note. He's the equivalent of a transit cop in London. And Andy Foley, thank you so much. I will definitely, I don't know when I'm going to get to see Mark to give him his half of this stuff, but if I don't see him, I'll just keep it all myself. But thank you so much. It's really Buffy. Cops love to get Buffy stuff like this. And if I do get to London, I'm not just drinking 1 pint with you. I'm going to drink numerous pints. Thank you so much, Andy Foley. It's amazing, the brotherhood. You know, it's all, and we have people coming to the chat from all over the world, and they're always touched by, you know, cops are cops, no matter where they're from. That's for sure. You know. And I'll tell you one thing, Craig, you look like a pretty mean dude, man. I'm glad I don't play hockey, man. Look at this guy. You know, he's checking people against the boards and getting in fights, right?
Yeah, every once in a while, but you know, yeah, I mean, I love playing, and now I've actually picked up and started coaching my kids hockey this year. They're at that age, and my little one, his name's Brecken, and he got the nickname at school, Brecken Ball, the Wrecking Ball. I finally had to tell him he couldn't just cross-check everybody on the ice. He had to go try to get the puck without laying somebody out.
That's good.
They were in the corner one day, and his buddy plays with bumped him, and I see them wrestling in the corner in practice, and I'm like, oh, here we go. But
as they say, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree there, you know?
Yep, I agree.
Hey, let me ask you a question. At what age do you show them the movie Slapshot?
You know what? You're gonna freak. I've never seen the whole thing.
Are you kidding me?
I'm a Youngblood fan. I like Youngblood.
All right, you got to see Slapshot.
I do. Every time I start to watch it, something comes up and I can't finish. It's right here in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, is where it happened, which is only an hour and a half from me.
Oh, really? That's so interesting. That's where that team was based.
Yes, I played on that rink.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
So, yeah.
Well, the Hanson brothers is what I was thinking about when you were talking about your son.
Well, actually, we had a tournament in Altoona, and I took one of the Hanson brothers' kids with me to the tournament. And the closest game we had was 8-2. We smoked everybody. And
really?
Oh yeah, real good player. That's back when I was younger and was in real good shape.
Well, we're up against the break right now, but when we come back, we're going to get a little bit into your career and find out what is it that you actually do up there and where you work and stuff like that.
Sure.
Hey, what's up? Listen, everybody, especially if you're in the East Coast like me and you're thinking about making a move, you're not happy with what's going on here, why not give a thought to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina? I heard it's a beautiful life down there. And one of our sponsors, Carol Waters, she's a realtor in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. She lived up here. She worked in the Bronx at one of the best restaurants. She was up here for a long time, and then she made a move with her husband, Rob Mayen. He was a New York City police officer that went on to the fire department, and the two of them out there are selling real estate, and they're doing a great job with it. So if you're thinking about making the move, I'm thinking about it. Check out Carol Waters Sells MB Maryboy at gmail.com. The phone number there is 914-261-6681. And trust me, South Carolina sounds beautiful to me. And if you're going to move down there, you couldn't be in better hands than having Carol Waters help you. Joe Murray, what can I say about him? He's a frequent guest on the show. He's a retired NYPD police officer who became a lawyer while on the job. And he, not only is he a gentleman, but he's the guy that you want on your side. God forbid you get into trouble with the law. So take this email down, J. Murray, MURRAY-law.com, and his phone number is 646-838-1702. Keep that on you at all times, because if you're like me, you never know what's going to happen. Once the party starts, I don't know where I'm going to end up. And I got Joe Murray on speed dial.
Folks, Michael O'Keefe is a retired NYPD first grade detective and the author of 3 novels, Shot to Pieces, A Reckoning in Brooklyn, and Burnt to a Crisp. You can order his books on Amazon.com or his website, michaelo'keefeauthor.com. I've read all 3 books. They're fantastic. Michael O'Keefe is sort of famous for being the 3-4 precinct police officer who got in a gunfight with a drug dealer named Michael O'Keefe in 1992. That gunfight and the fact that Michael O'Keefe was the victor of that gunfight caused the Washington Heights riots because of misinformation that got out there. Anyway, Shot to Pieces is somewhat autobiographical in regards to that. And I recommend all 3 of his novels. You can order them on Amazon.com or his website, michaelo'keefeauthor.com. Police Coffee is an officer-owned business dedicated to crafting the finest coffees and blends. And it'll provide you with the freshest coffee available. Each batch is roasted fresh by people who know what it means to stay vigilant. And our specialty coffees do not waste one drop when flavor is concerned. Our coffee is some of the best you'll find, but it also helps serve an important cause, giving back to our community. 50% of the profits goes towards helping family members of police officers who fell in the line of duty. To order coffee and related products, just go on their website, policecoffee.com. It's that easy. There are over 7 types of coffee to choose from. 50% of the profits go to officers' families in need. For a 10% discount, use code OTC10. That's off the cuff 10. So policecoffee.com. That's how you can order it.
All right.
Perfect timing, Craig. You're back just as we finished.
But let me start. I saw somebody in chat think that's a Rangers jersey. That's a Capitals jersey. Don't know. I know I'm gonna have some people. I know I'm gonna have some hate now, but that's not a Tom Wilson jersey, but it is a Capitals jersey.
So let me ask you. So you're from Pennsylvania? That's where you grew up?
I was born and raised I was born in Waldorf, Maryland, which is south of Washington D.C. And then we moved up to Pennsylvania in 1990. Give you a quick backstory there. That's where Brotherhood came from. My dad's a retired DC police officer, and when we were little, a couple guys my dad arrested burned our house down, and we had one of our neighbors was a PG County police officer actually went in the house and found my sister who was hiding in the house during the fire, and DC Police Department took over, came in and told Maryland State this is ours, and Maryland tried to say it's our area, and DC said it's our guy. So I mean, living through that and then leaving Maryland and DC area to come up here, it was a rougher life. You know, dad in DC and working during the 80s was tough. So when we moved up here, it's quiet, central Pennsylvania, not much going on. And it was a shock for me. I mean, the first time I thought these kids were going to carry engines around with them, I didn't know what redneck country was. Well, found out real quick what redneck country was.
You know, Craig, I'm hearing that Michael O'Keefe, who I just read the ad for, who has those 3 novels, it says he's a very active member of law enforcement only. So I just thought I'd let you know that. Mike's a great guy. I talk to him quite often, and he's a very prolific writer, and he's a hell of a guy. So I just wanted to mention that. And also we did get a Matthew Koss. Thank you for that $4.99 super chat. Always appreciated. You know, one of the things you mentioned on your website, and it's a huge problem in law enforcement, and we've done numerous shows on it, and we'll do numerous more shows on it, and that's police suicide. And we all know that not enough is done in that realm. More is being done, because police departments recognize it as such a huge problem. And you want to speak upon that?
Sure. I actually have a video out on YouTube about police suicide and making the decision, and I sort of lay it out there as either turning left or right when you're laying in bed at night. You turn left and go to sleep, or do you turn right and get your gun? And there's times people have to make that decision. And, you know, we've all been there. We've all seen things we shouldn't see. We've all lived through things we shouldn't live through. And, you know, people say, oh, you're central Pennsylvania. You haven't seen, I've never been shot at. No, but I've seen dead kids in cars. I've seen babies shoved between couches and cushions, killed. There's a lot you see. You said my best friend committed suicide. And the video I put out, and I first got to say that whatever I'm saying is me, not Pennsylvania State Police, because that's their big thing. So I put the video out, and at first I was worried about having it out there, PSP wise, because it did talk about, a lot with suicide. And I pulled it back down. And I got a phone call maybe an hour after I pulled it down from a guy out near Philadelphia. And he said, "Hey, where'd your video go?" I said, I just don't know if I'm ready to have that out there. And he said, "No, you don't realize. I went to work this morning and I ran into one of our midnighters." And he said, I could see the signs of what you were talking about. So I took him to breakfast and I sat down and I just showed him your video. And he said, "Wow, I didn't realize that's where I was at, how close I was." And he said, "Your video saved his life." So I put it back.
Wow.
And, I've, as I said, I've had guys call me and they said, "Hey, I was at the bottom of a bottle and your group saved me from the bottom of that bottle." And we get people that come into our group all the time and they're like, "Why isn't this more police related, more serious?" Our humor sometimes is what keeps you from doing that. You have somebody to reach out to, and we can attack each other. There's times there's attacking in that group. The Washington, D.C. Capitol Police thing is one. It has caused a divide. It has been a nightmare. And I've had people, but if you go in that group and you say, "I am having dark thoughts," or "I'm having a rough night," you will have 15 guys on you in seconds, calling you, talking to you, trying to find you, asking you to go hang out with them, just because they realize that that's what the group's for. And I'll get text messages overnight. "Hey, did you see this? Hey, we had an officer, he lived a couple of houses up from me, that shot and killed somebody. And he had some dark moments and he posted in the group that he needed help and the guy stepped up." I had challenge coins made that say it's okay to call for backup. You've always been able to call for backup at work. Why can't you call for backup at home when you need help? So I did up these little challenge coins, and every time I've had people call me, "Can you mail me 10? Can you mail me 5? And every state police barracks I show up to that I haven't been to before, I hand a coin to their station commander and say, "Hey, there's going to be a time you're going to need this. Please give this to who needs it. If you need more, let me know." Because we don't have those. In law enforcement, you ask for help, they take your gun and they suspend you.
Yes. Yeah.
Help. If you're a civilian, you're told, "Hey, you need help, get help." Us? "Oh, wait, you're a cancer. We're going to take your gun. We're going to shove you on a desk. We're going to suspend you. You can't ask for help." And it's sad. And I get the point of you got to have people out there that are safe. But if we can't ask for help when we start to cross that line, that's when suicide happens. That's when the decisions happen of drinking and driving and doing something stupid, because you can't lean on anybody else. We have to be there for each other. And that was one of the main reasons for the group. We have to be a team.
Craig, I've mentioned we've done numerous shows on suicide. In fact, we had Marianne DeLuco McGinnis, whose husband was an NYPD sergeant who killed himself, leaving her with 3 kids to raise by herself. And we've had the amazing Dr. Stephen Washkel. I don't know if you've heard him. He's a suicide prevention expert and great guy. We've had him on the show numerous times. And it's so important that we put this out there and keep it alive, because that's what ultimately is going to keep cops alive. And, I was in, not to talk about myself, but I was in homicide for 10 years and I saw some heinous, horrendous things. And, one of the ways cops do deal with things is, let's go out for a drink together and talk about this, And I asked Dr. Washkel, "Is it all right to go out for a drink?" And, he goes, "Of course it is." He goes, "As long as it's not a 4 to 4 every time you work,
And you got to put it out there. And if you're out there and you need somebody to talk to, call Bill. I'm going to give you his number. He's available 24 hours.
You can always write us at an email at policeoffthecuff1, and if it's really an emergency, we'll get back to you immediately. I check my email.
Well, no, actually, you know what? I was talking to somebody yesterday through a Facebook Messenger, and she's been through it. She's one of our frequent guests on the show in the chat, and she's going through some hard times. She's thinking about making a move out here, and I was telling her about rent and stuff like that. But this is just through Facebook Messenger. One of the fans and she's telling me about all this. She's a former military, and she's going through some stuff. And you know, I'm not going to mention her name because I don't know if she wants it out there. But we're here. We're really here. So feel free to reach out to us anytime.
100%. Listen, there's Holy Land fan. My husband took his life in 1986. I'm very sorry to hear that. My son was 7. He had a severe alcohol problem. A lot of times, you know, that's a sign of asking for help is a big alcohol problem. Isn't that right, Craig?
Yes. Yes. And that, you know, my best friend that committed suicide, none of us wanted to see it. None of us wanted to know that it was there because we wanted to ignore it. We're police officers. We just go out and we hang out and nothing's ever wrong. And I guess I missed the sign when he said to me, his daughter said to me, we were driving down the road and we passed a beer distributor. And she said, that's where my daddy gets his juice to drink it every morning at 7:30. And I should have started to pick up on the things. And I was working one night as a trooper before I made rank. And I was out and we went to dinner one night and another good friend of mine. And we were just hanging out. And he said, his girlfriend had broke up with him. And he said, boy, I shouldn't have this gun on my hip. It's just not a good night. And I left and I got thinking, well, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. So I called the corporal on duty and I said, hey, just a heads up. This is what was said to me. I don't know what to do with it, but I needed to let you know. We showed up at a domestic about an hour later, and the guy I did this to came up to me and he goes, dude, did you call the corporal? I said, yeah. I said, flat out, I'm not doing this again. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm not watching another person commit suicide. I'm not doing this. And he looked at me and he said, no, I wasn't going to bitch at you. I was going to thank you. I didn't think about what I said and how far I was out there. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to talk to Matt, which is our member's assistant. I needed help. And normally what would I have done? Ignored it because no, we're not telling on each other. We can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. But I'm glad I did. And we're still good friends now. But I was ready to jump him when he said, oh, I thought he was going to say, why would you do that? But no, he was grateful.
You're getting in a lot of other fights outside the hockey rink, I see.
Every once in a while. Yeah.
You know, it's hockey players. Go ahead, Bill.
Allison Rogers, well, she just wrote, this is in reference to a different case, but thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Right now we're talking about police suicide, but thank you, Allison Rogers, for that $5 super chat.
And you were talking about hockey. We actually are hosting our first ever hockey tournament in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the weekend before St. Patrick's Day. So we're hoping we get a couple teams coming over. We travel well with New Jersey State Police and Vermont, and we're crazy, all of us together. And then we go to New York we go to Vaughan, Canada for a tournament every year, and we'll get on the ice. And people are like, how do you guys still win when you're this drunk? You got to do something between games. And we actually had a ref. We were at Lake Placid, New York, and we had a water bottle. And we had Canadian Club and Gatorade mixed into a mix. And the ref came by and said, can I get a drink of water? Well, we gave him that one. I guess.
You wanted the calls to go your way.
Well, he came back later and goes, can I get some more of that? We thought he was going to get more. So, yeah, we have a good time. It's a great thing. But, yeah, hockey, when I got into my thoughts of suicide and getting away from everything, it was after watching 2 kids killed in a fatal crash, 140-mile-an-hour collision that killed 2 high school kids. And I shut off from everybody. I quit doing everything. And what got me back to normal was I quit playing hockey. I quit doing everything. All of a sudden, I got back on the ice. And that got me back. I needed something to get me back in my routine. So I said to my wife, did you notice anything? She goes, you quit playing hockey, which is rare. I mean, I'm 44 and I'm still getting on the ice with young kids playing twice a week. She said, you gave it up. And I said, yeah, you're right. But I didn't even notice what I needed to get me back. Once I got back on the ice, things started to come back to normal. But the smell of antifreeze still gives me flashbacks. The crunch of glass under feet still gives me flashbacks. There are things that are always going to trigger you for the rest of your life. If you don't know how to put them and help yourself, you're gonna roll over to the left instead of the right.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny how those micro things, a smell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, does anybody really? If you've ever been to a scene where there's been a body laying there for a couple of days. That smell when you walk in, there's nothing like that. You'll never forget that smell.
Burnt body from a fire. That's one of the.
You know, Craig, we were all 9/11 first responders, and that building burnt for a couple of weeks afterwards, and we'll never forget what's described as that World Trade Center smell. You know, in fact,
that's like who was the officer that died that was on TV a lot and lost? You watched him lose the weight, go from the big one of your, one NYPD specialty guys down to nothing. You watched him just shrink. It was just sad to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people. I'm doing a show on the 17th, a 9/11 commemorative show with the 3 guys that I was with that day, and just to see how everyone's doing 20 years later. All but one of us are retired from the NYPD, but I think it'll be
Luis Alvarez. That's it. Thank you,
Luis Alvarez. Yeah, it'll just be interesting, and many people have real horror stories from 9/11 and have never gotten over it. And luckily, myself and the 3 guys that that are going to be on the show with me are all doing pretty well. We have some health problems from it, but we've survived, and we're all doing pretty well. And I just want to commemorate that day and shout out to I believe it was 33 NYPD officers we lost, 36 Port Authority, and I think 343 FDNY. So there was,
and that was sad too. I saw that your state, your city, and your agency sort of tried to deny a lot of the cancer and other causes that came from 9/11. It was sad to watch that fight that you guys had to fight.
Well, it's amazing how celebrity Jon Stewart deserves a tremendous amount of credit for getting that push through because, a celebrity, that's what we needed. We needed a celebrity. All these people dying of cancer wasn't good enough, but I shout out to Jon Stewart for doing what he did. It was fantastic.
My mom that's my mom, Lynn, that just commented there. She helps run the golf tournament for us. We have a golf tournament October 12th in Pottstown, PA. It's a Tuesday. That's my thing. It wasn't just me. My mom stepped up and took over a golf tournament and college scholarship committee. My dad stepped up and started getting involved with the clothing and the shipping and making sure that our store was up and running trailers. And he does quite a bit. So it's not just me. They jumped right into to make sure that everything continued to flow.
Right. I got your whole family on the bottom of the screen there. So, you could see it. So I'm going to remove them now, but they were famous for about 30 seconds.
Hey, if you want to do a comedy show up there, let us know.
Actually, we have our dinner coming up. Is April 3rd at the FOP in Philadelphia, and we're just talking about trying to get a comedian to come just for a short period during the dinner. Usually Philly sends their.
That's what I do. That's what Bill does. I came back from Nashville. We did the TAC Ops. There's they do one for SWAT. They do one for EMS, and it's a trade show plus all these different type of lectures and training that goes on for 3 days. It was in Nashville, so I just came back from that, telling jokes there. So if you guys are putting something together up there, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we're already scheduled for that. That event's been scheduled, and what we do is it's a full dinner. We have all kinds of silent auctions, and we usually get about 200, 300 people. We were in Staten Island one year, and it went really well. It's just so damn expensive to have the dinner there that Philly treats us really well. They give us a heck of a discount, and there's a bar right next door. So we go there and we hang out. We have our dinner. We go to the bar after, and everybody hangs out. And my wife actually saw the LEO only connection there because I was, she always hears the stories of what we've done and what this and that. And she's always like, Well, we went over to the bar after, and an officer came up to me and off duty, and he says, "Hey, thought I'd let you know I flew up from Arizona for this dinner." And I'm like, "Holy cow!" He goes, "You don't realize what your group has done for Phoenix PD."
I thought he was going to say the food sucked.
Oh no, no, I don't. Yeah, well, and that's the next day you got to go for cheesesteak. You're in Philly.
That's right.
You got to hit that.
I could not let that Potential to tell a joke. Go.
Yeah. But yeah, April 3rd's our big dinner, and we'd love to have you guys as guests if you'd like to come.
Oh man, I'd love to come.
And I said it's a great night, and we have the pipe and drums. A buddy of mine who's a lieutenant with the state police for us is going to do some singing. He's excellent. And then
Mark. Mark always wanted to know what those the bagpipers wear underneath those kilts.
I don't want to know.
Hey, Judy Ron, he gave us a $10 super chat, but he says, "Rest in peace, Detective Luis Alvarez, who I grew up with in the story, by the way. He's a childhood friend of mine. We grew up together in the same neighborhood." And
April 2nd, my mom corrected me.
Yeah, your mom corrected you. Mom's
She's
always
still
correct.
correcting me.
Yeah, she's still correcting you.
John Stewart for fighting for us. That's from Duty Ron.
That's great. Actually, I was corrected by MC's audio that I had it incorrect. 23 NYPD officers died on 9/11. And I believe
23
it was
too many.
Yeah, and I think it was 36 Port Authority officers. So I know that, 20 years, it's amazing that many years have gone by since that.
What do you have like 19 years on the job, almost 20?
Be 20 in January, I'll be completed. That's when we can retire with 50%, but I do 5 more years, I'll make 75%. So I'm hanging around for at least 5 more. Yeah,
we kind of sort of have that too with the 60th. You get an extra $1,000 a month if you stay till 25. Well, under my tier, I think Bill's tier as well. But I would stay to 25 too. That money comes in handy. Yeah, we get 75% of your highest year after 25 years. It's a great retirement, and we just got a new contract that just went through a couple months ago, so we're glad we got a little bit of a raise coming up. What kind of area are you in? I live at Penn State, so if somebody wants to come watch a great place to watch a football game. Wow. 107,000 fans, especially night games. If you've never been to a Penn State night game, it is amazing. Like you start drinking, you start hanging out at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you go into the game at 8 o'clock at night. How many games have you been to, Penn State games? I have season tickets. Oh, wow. And I also have season tickets to Penn State hockey. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, man, if you haven't been to one, let me know, because that is probably something you can never experience again. You walk in there, the echo of that building, that arena. I would love to see that. that. So I live here, and then I work out of Harrisburg, which is an hour and a half drive for me to get to work, 88 miles one way. I started my career as trooper, of course, made corporal, and I was the number 1 DUI enforcer in Troop F at the time. I have over 450 DUI arrests. I'm a drug recognition expert. And then I finally went to the Bureau of Life, which was I run basically all the computer programs in the car, the crash programs, the citation programs, the mobile office environment. The car is mine. I'm actually making a change to another section in less than a month. I'm going to be running more of the hardware side. So I've made my time running around and done it, and it was time to get off the road. I'm home every night for the kids. I don't have to worry about working evenings unless there's a DRE call out, or the new position I'm going to will be the mobile command unit, which is major incident. I'll start doing those again. So looking forward to a change, but I'm also looking forward to 6 more years and, having that ability to retire when I'm ready. But with the kids in hockey, I saw a post on Facebook the other day. It was an island, a private island, and it said, "This could be us, but my kids in travel hockey." There is no doubt about it. So, and that's my thing. Whatever they want to do, they can. I don't, whatever sports they want to play, I want my kids to enjoy the life that they can. And I told my wife I can retire in 5 years. How old are your kids? Well, she just turned 9 and he just turned 6. Okay, so I coached baseball the same way you coached hockey. And, the leagues that I used to play in and the travel teams, we used to have like a major league draft for like these little, 8-year-olds. And I hated that. I never picked the kid who could hit the best, pitch the best, or was like the biggest kid for his age. I always said to myself, you know what? If that kid's got a hot mom, he could be on my team. We didn't win too many games, but Daddy had a good batting average. Well, that's like when I coached up at Altoona, they asked me when I was up there, "Hey, do you want to help?" I said, "Sure." So I had
2 kids that just weren't as good as the rest. And what I'd always do at the end of the scrimmage was give them the puck and say, go, 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 go. Then they score and they light up. Just that one kid smiling, leaving the ice. You want him to come back.
One time I had this kid come up to me and he goes, "Hey, coach, I want to try pitching." And like this kid had no business pitching. Like, he was a kid who's stuck in right field, but his parents paid the money. I didn't care. I wanted to see what could happen. So I put him in to pitch, and wouldn't you know it? He was throwing these high balls. They would go so high, but they would land in the strike zone, and the other team, they couldn't hit the ball. And we wound up striking them out and winning the game. And the other coach came up to me after the game. He goes, "Hey, what was that all about?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "That kid with the throwing like that, like that's not, you shouldn't do that. That's not right." And I'm like, the kid wanted to pitch. So I let him pitch. He paid his money, let him pitch.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Something though, with juvenile sports too, sometimes kids that aren't good when they're younger become really good when they get to high school. It doesn't mean that because you're a superstar at, junior league stuff that you're going to be a superstar when you get older, Well,
that's like I've always heard the line, other than Wayne Gretzky, if you ask any pro player if what they scored when they were on the 8U or 10U team, they're not going to be able to tell you because it's not about scoring goals there. It's about development, helping the kids find their potential and not worrying about losing and making them have fun. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, that's what the kid's going to remember if he had fun, if you made it a positive experience. No one's going to the pros out of a 8-year-old hockey league. But the parents are the fault,
Oh, yeah. I watched the video the other day. It was a little kid, and he's got a box, and he's got this. His coach. He's a black guy with dreads, and he's down on one knee, and the kid's giving him a paper that says, "Thank you for making me love football again." And the cup said, "Greatest coach ever." And the connection you saw from them was like, that's what you want. Because that kid's never going to forget him.
Right.
What's funny that you say that is that a lot of kids, when they look back about high school, they couldn't tell you who their favorite teacher was, but they'll tell you who the coach was.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever forgets the coach.
I hated my coaches in high school.
Grace Green, thank you so much for that $50 super chat. I thought we were getting almost semi-skunked tonight, but thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. And you must be from Pennsylvania. But thank you so much, Grace. That's very generous of you.
You know what? The best thing that comes out of that sport, like my son was a pitcher, and he played in a very competitive. His high school team won the city championships here in New York. They played in Yankee Stadium. But when you're on the mound and you got to face bases loaded, that's a little challenge there, and that helps you with life. Whether you win or lose in that situation, you face it. And that's one of those things that you get out of sports,
Well, it's funny. My oldest son was a pretty good wrestler. He was 2-time all section. And my youngest son saw the ceilings of more gyms because he was on his back getting pinned every time. And it was hard to keep him interested because he was getting killed, And
that's one thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
And that's one thing I don't want. A buddy of mine was a heck of a wrestler all through high school. His junior year, he finally quit because his dad made him be at a tournament every weekend wrestling. Finally, his junior year, he just said, "That's it, I'm done." So I told my kids, as long as they're having fun, I don't care. You can play.
Yeah, wrestling is the parents. Like, you always got to go back to the parents. The nuttiest parents I've ever met were wrestling parents. Because
Pennsylvania is a big wrestling state. It's crazy.
I know it is. My son used to go to tournaments in Pennsylvania, and I would be, I got crazy too, just from osmosis. How's your weight? Did you do this? Did you?
Yeah.
Don't drink that. I became crazy too.
Funny story about wrestling. They gave me some DUI overtime one night, and I was running around State College, and I got a truck running a red light. So I pull it over and I walk up. The name was familiar, and I'm like, Taylor. So I Google it while I'm sitting in the car, figuring out if I want to write him a citation. And I walk back up to the car. Here he's the Penn State national champion, Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, he just won the gold medal in the last 15 seconds too.
Well, I walked up to his car and I said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "What?" I said, if you have your gold medal on you, I'll give you a warning. He's like, I'll go home and get it. I said, no, I'm not going to give you a citation. Yeah, it was nice.
That's unbelievable.
That's amazing.
It's a pleasure talking to you. You're a great man. I mean, you're doing so many things. Obviously, besides your job, you've really given back. Joe Murray is in the chat now. He wrote, "I loved wrestling," but Joe Murray was a PBA boxer. He went all over the world. He was fighting Irish guys in Dublin, and fighting detectives in the 10th Squad too.
Hey, I just got to say, man, I love watching guys wrestling. Wait a minute, I didn't mean to say it. No, that's not the way.
Yeah, I was worried for a minute. We don't want to look at your browsing history, do we? Your favorites.
I told you he wanted to know what was under those kilts.
Yeah, maybe wrestling in kilts. I have to look at that browsing history after tonight. You might look that up now.
All you folks in the chat from Australia, from I just saw someone from Wales. I was like, this is unbelievable. I love it though, Pennsylvania people, of course, are in the chat. All you folks, thank you so much for becoming Police Off the Cuff fans. Guys, we also, besides doing Police Off the Cuff, we have a Patreon. If you want to join our Patreon for extra content, for $7 a month, you're called The Bucket. For $9 a month, you get to polish my rack. And for $11 a month, you're dipped in butter. I won't say what anatomical parts dipped in butter, but that's the most popular a tier of our Patreon.
Yeah, you can dip whatever you want in butter. And also, too, please, if you're enjoying the show and you want to help us out, check out the Patreon. We got Mike Cologne on board right now. He's booking our guest, and he's part of the family now. We got to freaking pay his ass now.
That's right. We got to hire. We're getting bigger, so we got we just hit 12,000 subscribers, almost 12,500 subscribers on our YouTube, and we're going to be growing.
We'd be happy to give you a page on the Lodge app too, if you guys.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. Jesse SX, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. We are the champions, USA. Yes, we are. And folks, we need you to help support law enforcement on a national level, and that's why we bring on these great guests like Craig to talk about what they're doing. And what he's doing is so unselfish, but it's so important. Because we need the support, not just in Pennsylvania, but on a national level. The police definitely need support. Lieutenant Peter Pranzo, Harlem Raiders. Thanks, Lieutenant Pete. I didn't see Richella. I know she's in the chat somewhere, but there are a couple of the Pranzos, and they actually went to see what's Hootie and the Blowfish. What's his name again? They went to his concert the other night. I can't think of his real name.
That was so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I won't say how old they are, but they're still going to rock concerts. That's fantastic.
Hey, don't forget to give it up for Grace Green. She gave us a $50 super chat.
Thank you so much. Larry Bennett, amen, Bill. We need all the support we can
Darius
get
Rucker,
for 100%. Darius Rucker, he's great too. What a great voice, Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. That wasn't his song, but he sings it. He does a good job.
Rumor is Lee Bryce has given us a nice donation for the golf tournament. I guess we'll see. Nice country artists always back law enforcement. I've always liked that.
That's cool.
That's cool.
You hope they do, the country guys, because they're supposed to be down home, real people type stuff. Mark, any last words?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for coming on and joining us, Craig. This was a really special episode. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you guys ruined the song.
Craig, thank you so much for coming on, and I'm glad you're still playing hockey at the age of 44. I won't tell you how old I am, but I definitely couldn't play. I couldn't play. I never did play hockey. I was a football and a basketball player, but I'm a little too banged up to play anything now. When I lift weights now, I'm like, I'm using a real wimpy weights. I can't because my shoulders are all screwed up from a lifetime of lifting weights,
Cold
and just so you guys know, the Elio Only website doesn't have a lot of clothes on it right now because we're in the middle of remodeling and trying to get into a bigger storefront because we have a lot of stuff. We had bought all of our clothes for Police Week Tent City last year and they canceled it. So I have an overload of clothing and we have to rearrange to get to it. So if anybody goes on our site, you're not going to see clothing. You'll see all of our raffle tickets and things like that. And we're actually looking at doing a Corvette raffle coming up because we want to try to raise money to finally get a vehicle for LEO only on its own instead of me burning.
Corvette?
Yeah, we're looking at a Corvette to do as a
I
raffle.
love Corvettes, man. I'm in.
Yeah, we're looking at doing one. We got a nice deal on one, so we're hopefully going to do that.
Yeah, I'm from New York. I love Corvettes. I grew up in the 80s. Yeah, I'm in. Let me know. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in on that raffle.
Boxing MMA. Thanks, Sergeant Bill and Detective Mark, and the great guest, Sergeant Polan. That's not Poland Springs. He's not related to that water company.
I wish.
But yeah, you're right. You'd be loaded if you were related to that. Anyway, folks, thank you so much on behalf of Mark DeMeo and Bill Cannon for Police Off the Cuff After Hours, and Sergeant Craig Polan from the Pennsylvania State Police and Law Enforcement Only. Thank you so much for watching. Good night, everyone.